KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack!
Every Saturday morning.
I like really enjoy listening to the goat.
Yeah, the goat after it's hilarious.
Yeah,
In fact, we
right
listened to it last night.
Yeah,
and it's a great segue. Obviously, after our nice singing,
our
that goes
howl,
on
yes.
right there.
We went to a great event last night to say goodbye to our Michael Board.
Say goodbye to our Michael Board, and one of the individuals who is replacing him is our great Dave, right next to me, right
here.
Hey,
Dave, welcome to the show.
Welcome to Capital and the show.
This is his initiation, and also I want to do a shout out to our dear friend. Is Vaughn Peterson, who had surgery this week and is doing fine.
He's doing great.
I understand he's in a little pain, but I think he's doing okay. So,
he'll
get well, Vaughn.
Individual, but get well because there's a lot of homes out there that need clean air services.
That's right. That's right. So
I want to give a shout out to last week was Easter.
Yes.
And huge thing. We obviously every year is a big deal with church. Our church had a phenomenal service. Pastor Mark Moreno had a phenomenal message, and with two packed houses, we had 25 people who gave their life to God, which I was just kind of blown away by. It was a phenomenal service, and it was really kind of cool to be a part of it. So anyway, we'll shout out to that.
That is awesome. One of the things, we have a great show today. We're in the springtime right now. We're in springtime real estate. We have a lot of individuals out there. They're asking a lot of questions. We
got some two-timers.
We have a two-timer in the studio as well.
Is it a three-time? Is she a three-timer?
Yeah, no, a two-timer.
Two timers.
Okay.
Well, she would have been a three-timer, but she got sick one day.
Yeah.
We have
that's right.
the beautiful Jenifer Mikeska from Remax. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah.
And
so it's a two-timer doubleheader.
It's not a bad one right there.
Something like that.
Jenifer, and you're involved in so many things this year. Let us know a little bit about what you're involved with, what you're doing with NRG, what that has been doing for you, and then tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, just nothing like putting me on the spot, right?
That is the idea.
Well, yes, as a busy life of a realtor, I do get involved, and it's important to me to be very involved at HAR. And being part of the NRG, which is the next generation group of realtors, has been very energetic bunch. I cannot have been involved in one of the most incredible groups, I think, of all of HAR. We go out into the community and do volunteer work, which we're doing, by the way, April 25th. So we need volunteers.
Chris and I will be there.
We will be there.
All right.
Yep.
I'll bring my paintbrush.
Bring your hammers.
And my hammer. And my ladder. They usually want my ladder. but tell them a little bit about
We only love him for his ladder.
That's really pretty much it. But I get to hang out with all these young folks.
You know anybody with a ladder?
Yeah. I've got a
that
tall
Rob guy
anyway, you won't believe it. But Terry Lyons actually commented, so, are you coming? We need your ladder. I'll be there.
Wow.
Well, we're glad you're going to be there.
So the cool
kids.
But
tell them what you do, because it's pretty amazing what happens. Is you pick a house, you pick a family that needs help, and the house is in disrepair, and like 80 of us show up and basically redress it.
Good thing you expand on that, because Rob wanted you to explain that.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, we have had such amazing help from our wonderful Vanessa Martin, who really organized everything with the Rebuild Houston organization. It's a nonprofit organization. She went out, met with the homeowner, and really looked to see what they needed. And we are gathering all of the supplies and everything to help rebuild their home, basically. We are going to be doing everything from, painting and redoing their yard and some doors and all that kinds of fun stuff. So but it's more important. It's giving back to the community.
Yeah, it's a great event. I've done probably at least 3 of those rebuilds, and it's like the family are so appreciative because it's oftentimes somebody that's elderly, can't do a lot of the work themselves.
Right.
And these group of young people come in there and
Rob's house is on the list next year.
Yeah. That's good. I need some paint.
Well, we want to pay it forward.
I'm not elderly. I'm seasoned. I'm staying with that. Anyhow, so where are we going to be this year?
So this year, it's over in the third ward area.
Okay.
And it's going to be a neat experience, very humbling
Be
experience.
Chris's first time.
Yes, it'll be my first time.
Are kids allowed to come?
Yes, you're more than welcome to bring kids.
Yeah, tell them they're going to work though.
Yeah, I like teaching my kids slave laboring and just put them to work. So give them that concept of working for free. So
well, it's important
next
for them
up is
to
the car.
see.
I need it washed, kid.
It's a great lesson for kids to learn, though.
Yeah.
They're watching the adults.
Right.
And in all seriousness, our kids, we've brought them to volunteer at the Houston Food Bank and a number of other things to try to instill that in them. So this is something that I've seen what you guys have done before, and I think it would be really cool for them. I didn't know if y'all had kids come out.
And for me, it's really cool because I get to hang out with a bunch of young people.
That's right.
It keeps me young.
But and then
Which is
we
almost
also
anybody.
have a bowl-a-thon coming up, don't we?
Yes, I mean we throw major, several events throughout the year, but yes, charities are very important to myself and many others. But this year we're taking on a brand new event, which is going to be our bowl-a-thon, and it's going to be 50s attire, but we're raising money and bringing awareness to Soaring Kids.
Soaring Kids, right?
Yes.
And what does Soaring Kids do, by the way?
Soaring Kids is a nonprofit organization for children that have handicaps, anywhere from mild to very severe handicaps, and it gives them the opportunity to take part in activities such as gymnastics, soccer, baseball, basketball.
Wow.
All of those things that they just can't take part, in regular situations. So it's just an amazing, and it's a local organization, and we want to shed some light and bring attention and awareness to them.
That is awesome. Soaring Kids. Again, that's the bowl-a-thon that's coming up May the 1st, is it?
It's May 1st, yes.
Yep. So I know we'll all be there, so we'll be supporting it and having a good time, but
Yes.
So we're going to have a Rat Pack team?
We'll have a Rat Pack team.
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh,
that is
awesome.
correct. So, and then tell us about real estate. What's been going on real estate-wise?
Well, we are just going gangbusters out in Pearland, so I don't know. I'm not really sleeping much these days, but I'm not complaining too much.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, we had a guest on that said that Pearland's only 15 minutes from downtown. Is that true?
Well, without traffic.
At 2 a.m. They didn't say what time.
Yeah.
At 3 in the morning.
And he defended that position the entire show.
Yes.
But it is a
It was
great
impressive.
location. I mean, it really is, because right now I know personally I have a lot of clients that live in the medical center, and it's the closest master plan community or suburb community to the medical center in downtown without having to go in town and pay those in town prices.
We were talking before the show about how when you think of somebody that they get frozen in your head in a time frame. I grew up in Columbus, Texas, and I would come to Houston.
When did you grow up?
Good point. Back when I lived in Columbus.
Okay.
Well, I'd come to Houston, and there was a clear distinction between all the little towns. You knew when you left Katy and when you were driving into Houston, and Humble was like, in the boonies, where we live now. You can't tell where any of these places separate anymore. And Pearland is the same way. In my head, I remember Pearland was like forever away.
It was country.
Yeah, it was like, you had to plan a day and get, the trip out there. But it's just, that's not the case. It's like closest master plan community to the medical center. That is just, that's nutty to me.
When I was in production,
up in my head.
When I was in production, at least once a year, somebody wanted to have access to the medical center.
That's amazing.
Couldn't afford medical center prices. I took them to Silver Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was an obvious choice, and at that time, 288 wasn't quite as crowded as it is now. But I was actually going to teach a class down in Pearland, and so I was heading opposite traffic, and I looked at the other side, and I said, "There's no way you're going to get downtown in 15 minutes in that traffic." So I don't know what Larry is talking about.
But it's very interesting, because you mentioned the
Random
medical
people
center.
can do it.
Most
Random
people don't
people can do
realize is that Houston's number one employer is healthcare. We all hear about oil and gas. We all hear about a lot of stuff, but healthcare is really that. And so, you got that healthcare corridor right there. It goes down to Pearland. And every time I'm going down there, I'm seeing all the great new developments that are going on. Shopping, retail. You got the brand new medical facility from Memorial Hermann, if I'm not mistaken, going on.
That's correct, yes. I mean, and we have several more communities coming in.
Wow. I mean, it's just amazing because what you see down there is just booming. Here's the thing. You're a very big listing agent. Is now a good time to put your home on the market? We're talking about springtime. And I get this question all the time, when is a good time to start looking to put your home on the market or to actually get out there and to look at buying a new home? What would you suggest?
Now.
All
right, moving right along.
Short and sweet. But yes, no, right now is a great time. And I know all across Houston it's a great time. But right now, especially in our area, because we are so heavily medical, we have a lot of doctors that are coming in for the residency or choosing which hospital they're going to be with, and they're going to be moving here in July or June. So they're the ones that are flying in here to look for homes on a weekend and choosing a home. So it's very competitive. Homes are not staying on the market very long, and that's something else that people need to realize. You need to be pre-approved before you get out there and start looking, so y'all can call Chris.
Well,
shameless plug, right?
Shameless, plug here. When it comes to buying a home, the process really starts many, many months before you should start looking. And credit is probably one of the least thought about aspects of it. And there's nothing fast that happens in the arena of credit. And doctors are some of the most notorious. We've had plenty of clients that were doctors, and the general public, when they think of needing to address credit issues or whatever else, don't think that it's a doctor or lawyer or whatever. Doctors are some of the worst that need our help the most.
Well, they have those medical school bills.
Yeah, well, and they, a lot of times they have a good cash flow and that type of thing, and they're used to paying cash for things, and it's not always about having negative items on your credit. It's about needing to have a good positive trade line and just some awareness of how you deal with balances and all that sort of thing, and an education process, which we do as well. But all of that starts months in advance, and so if you're planning on moving in a couple of months, that's not the time to look at it. So
you have to know before you go. That's what we always say.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. I will steal that, and it's mine.
Okay. What does Rob say? You say it once, it's yours. You say it twice.
Well, if you quote me, you have to give me credit the first time. And you kind of mention my name the second time. Third time, it's yours.
Yes.
So, that's typically how it works. But anyway, so when you get someone ready for springtime, this is a great time of the year also to purge and kind of relook at your house and all your belongings. And I think that's probably and getting a house ready for sale, that's probably something everyone should look at. It's like, it's time to, if we're moving, it's also time to get rid of stuff.
Yes, that's correct. And I think a lot of times people misunderstand the whole preparation process. As a listing agent, I prefer to get out there, meet with you at the home before your home is ready, because people think, well, I watched HGTV, I know how to do it. What they don't show is really all the nuts and bolts that really go into preparing a home. Agents who are seasoned, that know what they're doing, are going to give you advice based on the market you live in. We do not want you to get out there and start spending money on things that you think that need to be done, because that's your personal preference. We are appealing to the masses, so we want you to focus on those things that are going to be important to those buyers that are out there, especially when you're talking about the different generations. And what appeals to them may not appeal to you, but that's fine. You don't plan on living in your home. You're going to sell. So it is a step-by-step process in getting the home ready, and yes, decluttering, cleaning, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. They don't show any of what happens, the weeks of work that happen in between the commercial breaks on HGTV.
And we always say the way you sell a house is not the way you live in a house. It's very different, because if you went to sell your car, first thing you do, you're going to get all the junk out of the car and all those things you have in the back, all those brochures and things you have back there. You're going to get rid of that. You're going to wax it and all that stuff. Same thing with the house.
I would thoroughly agree.
And you don't live in the house the way that you sell it. You get rid of all the...
And waxing a house takes a while.
Yeah, it does take a long time.
It does.
Well, you don't realize how much you accrue.
Yeah.
I'm in a constant state of throwing away, and my wife is in a constant state of collecting. So
I do that a lot.
It's a balance in the household.
Offsetting penalties there.
Well, we are coming up against a break right now. Jen, how can we reach you, by the way?
Well, first of all, you can always call me at 281-844-5969, or you can visit me on the web at listwithjen.com, or now my newest page, listwithjen.info.
Listwithjen.info or listwithjen.com. That is the great Jenifer Mikeska. She's going to stick around here. We're still going to be having plenty more
We're
content.
not going to let her out of the room.
Not going to let her out of the room yet.
I think we got the door locked.
But we are coming against a break right now, so stay tuned. We'll be right.
The head nurse spoke up, said leave this one alone. She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back having a good time. Joe, you missed out on that one, didn't you?
What?
You missed out on it, didn't you?
Are we on?
I think we're on air. I think so, though. Not for sure, though.
Jen and I were just having a good conversation over here.
Hey, who could not have a great conversation with Jen, right?
Yeah, it always has that
Great
little.
job.
He always has that show within the show going on in that corner
Yes,
over
he
there.
always
I'm gonna
does.
start
I
I
that
got
in
to
the
start
corner.
my own show
Called Joe's Corner.
on the show.
The Joe's Corner.
Yes.
We'll do Joe's
Corner. Welcome back to Joe's Corner, sub-show of the Real Estate Rat Pack.
The goat has spoken.
So,
Well, you know, one of the things we do, we have a great sponsor, which is Capital Title of Texas. And Capital Title of Texas, we just
I
got
don't
to
know
mention.
why they have stuck around so long with us.
I know, crazy, isn't it? Just absolutely nuts.
They put up with us.
And they have an incredible individual who's been in the title business for a long time up in the Woodlands, and he is now here with us. And one of the things he called us up, and Dave, say hello to everybody if you don't mind.
Hello, everybody.
That was easy enough, wasn't it?
that was rehearsed, wasn't it?
That was absolutely rehearsed right there. You have been, right? But let us know a little bit about you and your background. Who are you with? And we obviously Capital
Super
Title,
Dave.
and let us know, why you enjoy the
motorcycle
industry so
trips.
much.
I love the title industry. I've actually been a real estate affiliate for about 16 out of the last 25 years. Title business is my favorite business. I've only recently joined Capital Title, but I had a long history in the Woodlands selling real estate, actually, being a mortgage loan officer and a title rep. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be back.
Well, we're excited to have you back, and you brought a great guest
Yeah,
today.
no kidding. I was going to say, he brought a rock star.
Yeah, introduce us to rock star.
Well, this is the rock star team from Keller Williams in the Woodlands, and his name is Rick Raanes. He's an amazing man.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not sure.
How's that for your intro?
I don't know where you picked that up.
Well,
Here's that 20 out.
the pressure's on now. So,
No kidding. Wow.
so,
All right.
so, Rick, when we get people on for the first time, we usually pretty much grill them pretty deeply.
Let's start off
Why'd
with
you get
some
in the business? How'd you get in the
statistical
business? And tell us something about yourself.
Well, gosh, I'm a small town kid from South Mississippi, so I've been in the Houston area now since 2002, and I feel like I got here as fast as I could. So
Well, good.
yeah.
We're certainly glad to have you out here.
Yay! Thanks.
So, and how long have you been in Houston for now?
Well, got here in 2002 via Memphis, and so got into real estate in 2003, and here it's been a lot of fun.
In your other life, what were you before you were in real estate?
Man, I tell you, my resume goes way deep, from the bar business to the tanning business to the car business to wrecker business to construction, you name it. It was just one right after another, and it's all been a beneficial trip. So here we are.
Life is full of
Well, I can see
experiences,
how all those tie together.
Yeah.
Especially the bar business.
It's
The bar
the
business.
tanning business.
Yeah.
You got a construction business.
Yeah, the construction business was really kind of what led into this, because I felt like I wanted
Oh, I thought
to.
it was the bar business.
Well, the bar business led to one, which led to the other, which
Usually
actually the
that
bar
way around.
business. Yeah, the bar business led to the car business.
I thought it was the bar business where you met a lot of the realtors.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's who talked me into coming this way. So, but eventually I'll probably be back in the bar business. So.
Anyway, so you've been with the Keller Williams up in the Woodlands up there.
That's
You're
right.
with Cindy Heyman up there.
With Cindy, that's right.
Yeah, one of my
Awesome.
favorite people up there. So tell us a little bit about your business and
I just realized it's a first that the bar business drove you to real estate. It's normally the opposite.
it's ironic, isn't it?
Yes, it's ironic.
Full circle.
A little bit about your business, and then we want to talk about the kind of the same things we're talking about. We're in springtime, and it's, of course, a great time to list.
Oh, yeah, real estate.
Yeah.
You have to talk about that.
And you're working with Stay on task, Joe. We got to get that ADD medicine.
That's what happens on the third cup of coffee.
You work as a team, right?
We do.
Okay,
that's right.
And you are the Rockstar team.
We're the Rockstar team. It's my wife and I, and we've just recently added a buyer's agent because of the volume of business that's going on, and we're really proud to have Jake Johnston join us. And it's been an amazing last couple of years. I mean, the big thing for the Woodlands was all about Exxon for so long, and it's interesting. Earlier you were talking about the medical profession.
Right.
So with Texas Children's coming and Methodist coming to the Woodlands, and the North Medical Corridor is coming that way.
And that's what we're seeing. Obviously, you live in that little place called the Woodlands.
Yeah, it's a small
little area. No one really hears about it anymore right now. Real estate
off the beaten path. Off the beaten path.
Yeah,
that's right.
Some small oil and gas company, from what I understand, is going to be relocating up there. But you talk about, though, other than that, there's a lot of other stuff that is going on up there. It's a great relocation area for foreign nationals. You've got a lot of other things that are going up in the Woodlands just in general. And describe how that growth has been. I mean, you obviously have seen where Woodlands has been, in 2002 to today.
Yeah, I mean, to think about the western half of the Woodlands didn't even exist 15 years ago, and so now we've crested over the 100,000 people mark, and so the whole commercial aspect is what's really blossoming out there. So from Hughes Landing, the development there, you've seen a lot of new towers going up. I mean, with Anadarko adding theirs, I think there's plans for another third tower that'll start pretty soon. It's just ongoing, and it's just a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. And people are seeing this, and they're fearful for values, they're fearful for taxes, and then it's going, okay, well, what's next? And it's amazing how many times people will call and say, what's next for the Woodlands? When does it stop?
Didn't Hughes?
Hopefully, something with Woodland Parkway is next for the Woodlands.
Oh gosh, yeah,
like whoever thought a one-lane road exiting off a major interstate was a good idea.
My gosh, I mean, just to think about all the half and half for people who want Woodlands Parkway to extend to 249, which is a whole other topic. But it's interesting to see how many people think that that's going to destroy the Woodlands, and so who knows what'll really happen with it.
Now, what destroys the Woodlands is the traffic when you're on there.
Yeah.
I went up to, I was teaching in Conroe last week, and I'm going against traffic, but even at that time in the morning, Woodlands Parkway was backed up all the way down 45.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know what the resolution for that is.
The resolution is more roads. I mean, it really, in as much as you like to keep
personal
a small town feel.
Yes.
Yeah, personal helicopters would be really nice. Just landing the space for landing pads. I don't know if George Mitchell will approve cutting trees down for the landing pads. So.
Didn't Hughes buy a big chunk of land up north now of Woodlands, Willis area out there?
So I mean, Woodlands 2.0 is kind of the next big thing. So once they finish with Creekside, then that's where they're going to move their sales pitch up there. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people coming. I don't know what the statistics are. I was looking on HAR recently for the first time, and it was interesting that you didn't catch that, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'll
trust me. Trust me, he caught it.
No, I mean, but it's interesting to see the statistics for move-in, move-out ratios. And I think the last time I saw it was like a 3-to-1 move-out for Houston. So, I mean, for every 3 people that are coming, only one's moving out. So, I mean, we really do have an inventory shortage. And so, and it's not just the Woodlands, but it's all across town. People are finding out that Houston really is a great place. The weather's awesome all year round, except for a few short days in the summertime. But, I mean, there's play golf year-round, and it's just a great place to be. So, everybody's coming. So, how do you have that conversation with your clients?
We're getting 7 buses are leaving Houston Tuesday morning to go to our legislature. One of the big issues we're going to be talking about is transportation, because we don't have infrastructure, and we don't have infrastructure because we don't have money for infrastructure.
Right.
So it's a big issue.
It is.
You want to watch Rob's blood pressure rise? Just talk about the great realtors on HAR.
Hey, we have a phone call right now for you, Rick. Actually, we have one of our great friends and one of the great individuals that you probably know. His name is Michael Board. Michael, how are you doing?
Good morning, everybody.
Hey,
I didn't know they allowed morning calls in county.
He got up early today, didn't you, Michael?
I'll apologize up front for my voice. You guys know it's been a little rough. I've been a little under the weather and I guess allergies, but I just wanted to call in and give you guys a little bit of a hard time. Welcome Dave Dickinson publicly, coming in behind me in the Woodlands, and Rick, I'm glad you got on the show. It's good to listen to you guys.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, man. Well, hey, congratulations on the new move. We're going to miss you in the Woodlands.
I appreciate that. I'm going to miss you guys too. I got a lot of good things ahead of me, but Rick and Vanessa are truly real estate professionals, you guys. They're awesome. And Capital Title, lucky to get to close at least a piece of the business for them.
Michael, has anybody warned San Antonio?
You know,
what's about to happen?
I sure hope so, Joe.
I mean, somebody should let them know.
I actually did. So I gave them some names of people to call, and I pre-warned them. So.
Well, you know, at the party last night, though, all the ladies were crying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily because Michael Board was leaving. It's because he was getting married.
Yeah. Yeah, hearts are breaking all across the country.
Yeah, it broke my wife's heart, too.
Well, hopefully I'm making one of them happy over in San Antonio, and that's Janice.
Yeah, I think you are. But you've been.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I'll miss you guys, and have a great rest of the show. I just wanted to call in and say hey.
Well, you know, there is a telephone in San Antonio. So,
they got those.
They got those.
Yeah, a couple years back.
Years back. So, you know, on Saturday mornings, you know, just call 800-808-5548, and you can call us anytime.
You know, I've had that number programmed in since day one, boy.
We'll look forward to hearing from you in the future, buddy.
Well, you've been a great partner for us, and we really appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you guys. Have a great show. Bye-bye.
See you, Mike.
Take it easy, Michael. That's always a great individual. Obviously, you know, Dave now here is taking over from Michael.
Dave's got some big shoes to fill.
Got some big shoes to fill, but you know, he's bigger than me, so he should be able to fill them. Yeah, he's got big feet. Super Dave.
All right.
So you know, as you were going back over there again, though, you're talking about obviously, you know, the Woodlands, and you know, for every 3 people that are moving in, 1 person is moving out. You know, what do you see the future? You know, how are you seeing that future going on?
Well, I mean, it's just going to be continued growth. I mean, you've got the Wood Florist area, Camp Strake, Johnson Development's going to do a lot of great stuff up there. So there's a lot of opportunity coming up. And then the Woodlands itself, you know, they've done such a nice job with protecting green space, and so that will always be a nice place. The schools are great. It's just going to have to be the builders are going to have to put more sticks in the ground. So that's what's going to have to happen for the growth.
Yeah, I can only
imagine. Are you seeing a lot of multifamily still being developed, or that's kind of come to a halt? Because in a lot of parts of Houston, that's come to a halt. You know,
well, gosh, multifamily is going strong out there, especially down 1488. I mean, they're putting in stacks of them. So, I mean, I don't know when that'll stop.
I remember when 1488 was country.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's
stacking them deep, selling them expensive.
I remember 1488 was really known for the build on your own lot companies. I mean, that was really about it. You drive down that. Yeah. You wanted to go find a build yourself your own home type company, the do it yourself home builders. That was where you went.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
And now a lot of them have moved out, sold those properties they were on.
When you start getting multifamily out there, you know, the thing is, you bring in people first, and then you get the supporting shopping centers and things like that for grocery stores, and that's how it happens. They start putting those multifamily. Now they're going to have a grocery store or two.
If you build it, they will come.
And they will.
Yeah, and they're coming.
Yeah,
they have to. You got to feed them. You know.
Well, you know, we are coming up against a break really fast. Rick, let us know how we can reach you if you don't mind.
Best way is by a cell. It's 281-960-1900. Or you can find out everything you want to know at thewoodlandsrockstar.com.
Thewoodlandsrockstar.com. Time flies, you're having fun. However, we're not over with yet. We have plenty of time to go. We still have Sandra coming up.
We got Sandra coming up.
So stay tuned.
The Queen of the Met.
That is correct. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I like it.
But you can tell right away Dr. A when the people start to move. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we're back. Having a good time. You know, between our breaks are hilarious.
Over here.
On Joe's Corner, we're talking technology and cell phones today.
Hey,
call in with your questions.
Speaking of Joe's Corner, we have another really good sponsor in the studio with us who we have not yet said hello to. His name is Tim O'Neill.
Hey, Tim.
Tim's a great sponsor of Joe's Corner.
Yeah, well, Tim, I stuffed your propaganda in everybody's bag today, so they've got all that good State Farm stuff.
Look, this is a Christian station, Rob. I don't know if we should start
talking about people's propaganda,
stuff and propaganda.
Yeah, he's got good propaganda. So
we have the Queen of the Met in the
Queen of the
studio
Met
right now.
That is so going to stick.
That is sticking from now on. You know.
Thank you, Rick.
Yes, that was a great one, Rick.
Well, people should call me T-Bone.
Yeah. Whatever.
Hey, T-Bone.
So Sandra Marconi,
Sandra Marconi, a great individual.
I've had a crush on this woman for like 15 years.
Yes, you can tell me that.
17 at the time.
Right, that is true.
Rob's always looking for his next wife.
Yeah,
next ex-wife.
His next ex-wife.
I'm married.
She's married to a great guy, Dominique. So if you're listening,
we're behaving.
for the most part.
We're protecting her. Don't worry.
We've got a huge audience. So let's talk a little bit about.
How about those Astros?
Oh, you know what? We have a baseball team. Anyway,
it's minor.
Sandra officially becomes a two-timer today.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Great segue.
Yeah, I just threw it in there right away. And
wow!
So we've had you on the show, and the last time we were talking about
that's an interesting segue, Rob. Moving from crushes to
two-timers.
It's not by accident.
Wow. Husband, she is still okay here in the studio. Don't worry.
Dominic,
you are never going on that show again.
It's okay, Dominic. We've got everything under control here. Anyhow, we talked about the Memorial Market right now, but let's talk about the market in general because, again, we're talking about springtime. And, and of course, Jenifer was telling us it's a great time to put the house on the market, but it really...
Is it really
starting in March probably would have been a great time. So what are you experiencing out there?
That's what we're seeing also is we've had people waiting, and because of that, some of those people have lost out on selling their homes. The market is moving quickly when you're priced effectively.
Yes, that's a very important thing because I know sometimes that, and the agents are guilty of this a lot of times. They'll try to buy a listing by overpricing it.
They will.
And that, like, the number one killer of a sale is overpricing.
It very much is, or overpromising and under-delivering as well too.
It's so much easier to under-promise and over-deliver, like you did this week, Chris.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, he did a great job. He actually saved somebody $4,000 on closing. So I have to brag on you a little bit. But anyway, so when you do a lot of listing and things like that, and of course you work at the Memorial area. Now that you're the Queen of the Met, you probably might be expanding more into inside the loop. And
we are, we very much are.
And you work as a team as well.
I do.
Describe your team to us.
Well, I do the listings, and my wonderful buyer's agent, a.k.a. son, Justin Marconi.
Nepotism is not dead.
No, it's not.
Alive and well with the Marconi Group.
He is learning all about buyers, and he's been with our team for almost 2 years, and he's doing great. He's doing phenomenal. He's learning how to deal with people, how to
learning how to work with mom.
Learning how to work with mom. And
that's what that really meant, by the way.
that was code.
Thus the bar comment earlier.
I have noticed him in the bar more lately. But he's doing a good job, and then we have a full-time assistant and a transaction coordinator. So we've got the whole shebang.
And you just actually recently moved to the Met, and that's a great, Bruce Kink owns that office. We've had Bruce on the show. Great individual.
Love Bruce.
And
have been warmly welcomed into that office.
I'll bet.
And it's been a good change for our team, a good opportunity for us to stretch and grow. And the culture there is just real true Keller Williams culture.
Like 500 of y'all over there.
There's about 530 of us.
Oh my gosh,
to be exact.
That's a lot of realtors.
Yes. A lot of red walking around.
A lot of red. A lot of red.
All good stuff, though. But, you're making mention. Here's one thing that I thought was pretty interesting, and most people don't realize this enough. It's a hot market, and people are still going and putting their homes on the market, and we need more listings, right? But pricing is still extremely important. Just because it's hot doesn't mean you can price your home at whatever price you think you can do and make a deal happen. In fact, I can see from a financing perspective, a lot of times people will overprice their home, get a deal, think it's the greatest deal out there, and then it doesn't make appraised value. Right. And what ends up happening is then there's that negotiation. It comes back down to the normal market value, or they get mad. They say, well, why didn't you, I thought it could be valued at this.
Right.
Describe how important that still is. I mean, going out there and doing the CMAs, describe that process, and more importantly, why it's important to truly listen to your agents.
We spend a lot of time when we do our market analysis with our clients really educating them. People think real estate is easy. The consumer does.
It's not?
It's not. We sell a home every day. The typical consumer will sell, once every 5 to 7 years, maybe once every 10 years. So everybody thinks that their home is the best, and it should be in their eyes. I think my home is the best too, but the reality is you've got to look at those numbers. Yeah, you can overprice your home, but in the long run, is it going to help you? No, it's not. So the days of multiple offers are really not happening anymore. You know, in some markets they are. You know, it may be happening out in Pearland, but in some pockets it's happening. Not so much out in the burbs or in that Memorial area as well too. So you've got to be on the mark on your numbers as well, and you've got to listen to your agent and understand.
I would agree.
It's so funny. You know, people go when they go to their doctors. They don't argue with their doctor. They go, "Oh no, I
really disagree with that prognosis about me feeling bad.
I don't have a brain tumor. Something, but they'll argue with us.
Right.
It's like, really?
Right.
We're giving you great data, and you're going, oh no, that's not right.
Moral of the story: wear a white coat.
Yeah, that might be it.
I might try that.
I'm your listing doctor.
Yes, Dr. Orsak, thank you so much.
I'll wear my crown.
I am the queen of the Met, and
the
you're
queen of the Met,
doctor.
and you will listen to me.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on Facebook.
The reality is, if you overprice a house in the beginning, you'll ultimately take less because it will sit on the market longer and get stigmatized by the people who are in the market looking at it because they probably patched it the first time. The people who are in that market for your house is in the market right now at the right price.
That's right.
And if you were going to get it high, they've skipped your house and gone on to another house.
Well, and it's interesting because I see a lot of people, a lot of times in their office, and you can speak to this as well, they will come in and they'll be doing the pre-approval, as Jen was saying. Thank you for the big shout out there, Jen. But they'll be doing a pre-approval with me, and then their first question is, well, we're going to make this offer on this property. It's been on the market for 90 days, so we're probably going to go in at a lower price. Buyers look at that nowadays with
Absolutely.
the millennials, with the information, with technology out there. They see all that data.
Right.
And so how do you address that with clients?
Only in Houston would be like, it's been on 90 days. Something must be wrong.
Right. Well,
believe it or not, though, it's a lot of times it's less sometimes.
Well, we have had those conversations, and it is difficult because that seller still wants his number.
Right.
So you have to, and especially with our millennials, God bless them, we love them, but we've got to educate them to understand you've got to negotiate. And that's what we've seen has been real difficult lately, is getting people to negotiate a win-win. But you still have to sit down with the data and show them this is what this home is worth. Yes, they're overpriced, but there could be something else wrong with the house too. They could have had inspections or something else came up. And we go through all of that with our clients and help explain that to them so they understand, kind of what you're going into. But you still can't come in and uber lowball somebody, $100,000 less. You just can't do it. You're just going to irritate everybody.
It still happens out there. Typically it's the person relocating who wants to come in and offer a lot less because they don't understand the Houston market. We're still
happened to them at their house.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. They're in a slower market, so they said, you know what? Let's try it in this market. And even though professionals, I'm sure, Sandra, you probably told them, this is not that kind of market.
Yeah,
right
here.
And then they said, well, we're going to do this. And of course, I always teach in class. We got another show going on over here.
I was saying that nobody heard the comment, and you just responded to a voice in your head.
Oh,
because he said it away from the microphone. So
yes,
the audience was like, "Who's Rob talking to?"
I've totally lost it now.
Now,
what are we talking about?
Real estate.
We're talking about real estate.
The real estate and pricing. But anyway, and sometimes they get it in their head that the market is like the market they came from. And I think it's a really good point, Rick. And so they think ours that way, and they make offers that are lower. They're always in charge, but they're not always right.
That's right.
So,
that is correct.
And that's the piece that you have to kind of do. And sometimes you have to lose that first house before they go, oh, okay, I get it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that age group tends to lose a couple of homes, and then about the third one,
It's like,
they
I
start
might
to
listen to
kinda
you, Sandra.
understand.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're listening to Justin because I do the listings. So.
You hear that, Justin? That's why you got that job.
Yeah, blame goes downhill. That wasn't me. That was my son.
Yeah, that's right.
God love him. But we appreciate him very much, Justin. Mom loves you.
Okay, you hear that, Justin? You are appreciated, even though you are the source of all the blame that we hear.
Yes,
about
right.
here. Yes.
Well, we're coming up against another break.
We are always coming up against the break, it seems like. We have some great information going on. We talk about if you want to hear from us or you want to talk to us, you can actually speak to us live at 800-808-5548. Sandra, do us a favor. How can we reach you, by the way?
You can reach me at 281-935-8265, or you can go to our website. That's themarconiteam.com.
themarconiteam.com. We have a new term here. It's called Great Agent. Great, like I said, with Keller Williams and the Queen of the Met as termed by Rick.
The Queen of the Met.
I love that. That is not going away anytime soon.
Thank you.
I think you got to put that in your card next time.
I think you need to register that website, queenofthemet.com.
Yeah, if Rick can put rock star, she can put Queen of the Met. I think that's.
I've already got it. I'll go ahead and sell it to you at a great price. So.
Yeah, he was on GoDaddy on the break.
Today on Joe's Corner, we're talking about buying domains where they're worth.
Thank you, Joe.
But we still have one more segment to go and one more commercial break to go as well.
Okay,
so
well, let's do it.
We are going to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we're back. Time flies when you're having fun.
The middle of the breaks, we really need to have another show. It's called
Between the Breaks.
Today on Joe's Corner, we're talking about appraisal issues.
Well, one of the things, this is an open mic segment right here. So, by the way, Jen, Rick, Sandra, y'all can feel free to ask any questions, join in. But, we were talking between the break right now about
Jen.
No,
we're talking in the break.
In the break right now, that is correct. That Jen has a multiple offer situation. And about a lot of times when that does exist, and it does exist, fortunately, a lot here in Houston, people sometimes say, well, business isn't personal or it's nothing personal, but you want to personalize that transaction because it can be the difference between winning a deal or losing a deal, especially if you personalize it.
Unlike commercial real estate, which is very unemotional, it's all about the numbers. When you sell a house or someone buys a house, it's a very emotional purchase. It's a place you're going to bring your friends, you're going to raise your family. It's very emotional. People get very attached to their homes. And we were just talking about on the break and Rick was agreeing with this, that he's gotten a transaction in a multiple offer situation because they wrote a nice letter.
We'll let him talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. It's interesting when you have the connection from the new buyer to the seller. A seller has emotional ties to the property like what you're talking about, and so they have a vision of what's next for the house. And when the buyer can connect appropriately to that vision, it's really not about price. It's really about what's going to be happening. What's the neighbors going to think? And so now you've got a nice couple with 3 kids and a dog coming in. Well, they know that there's a golden retriever at this house, there's a golden retriever at the next house, and I can leave my dog house in the backyard because the new buyers want that. So it's really important to really figure out why the buyer is going to connect in the neighborhood and with the house. To me, that's one of the best nuggets of the whole hour is that from a buyer's perspective, write that letter. Why do you want that house?
Well, I know that we had a seller. It was a very high-end listing, and we had multiple offers. And one of the offers came in with a picture of the family, and he said, do not show that picture to my wife. She will want to sell it to this family. He still looked at their offer, but he said she'll fall in love with them. And that is a smart tactic. They did look at the picture, and they wound up picking that family anyway. But, he knew that tactic, and he was like, that really kind of worked well for them. And it did. So... make sure your agent's writing a good letter for you and taking a good picture.
And if you're an agent that's presenting a multiple offer situation, be nice. Be nice about the house.
Oh, yes.
We had a situation where a buyer's agent picked one of our listings apart, and the seller was like, and it was a premium price, but they just tossed it because the tone of the email and the tone of was just, well, we need to replace this, and we're going to have to replace that. And he's like, well, great, replace it in someone else's house. So that offer immediately got tossed. So
well, Mother said if
nice.
You can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, during the break, I was checking my email and realized I have multiple offers on a property in Manville. And by the way, I want to bring that up because we were talking about the boom. Manville is going to be the next huge boom that we're going to be talking about.
Where is Manville?
Manville's just south of Pearland off of 288.
Okay.
And there are several communities coming in that it's really going to be the next major boom.
Technically, like 1960 or Highway 6, isn't it right there? Right below there?
No, Highway 6, 288.
Highway 6, 288, okay.
Yeah, south of Pearland.
Yep, south of Pearland right there.
But, so with the multiple offers, though, we've been experiencing that. And just as y'all had mentioned about the letters that we get, people are taking things so personally. When my sellers select a contract, next thing you know, I'm bombarded with not just agents calling me, but I have the buyers calling me. And you talk about not being nice, very upset because they did not win the offer on the home. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's great when you do all of those things. And you want to make sure your agent's presenting your offer to the best of their ability. However, do not call the agent and chew them out. Let your agent handle the situation. But in our area, there is lack of inventory. So when you have that situation come, you start to have people battling it out.
One of the coolest things that I saw a realtor showed me that they did as a listing agent, they made a spreadsheet, green, yellow, red, pro, neutral, con of every offer that they could show to their buyer. And that way you see the colors lining up, and you're like, well, this person is offering more, and that initially looks good. That's a pro. However, they're wanting you to include closing costs, a home warranty, and a number of other things to where their offer is really not so great. You have these negatives now. And it helped take the emotion out of the process a little bit at least, and help with that. It makes a lot more sense. And you're dealing with the buyers who are saying, well, we offered more and that kind of thing. You show that agent, hey, look, you were offered more, but it wasn't necessarily a better offer.
Actually, I wrote a multiple offers class that people can take for CE credit. And the fact is, the highest offer is not necessarily the best offer. It's the one that's going to close as the best offer.
That was one of our previous Rat Packer alumni.
If somebody's putting in that offer, and some agents out there right now, as a strategy, said, look, let's just offer way over because it's not going to appraise, and we're going to renegotiate with them later. And the fact is, not necessarily.
Right.
So I actually had Ray Wade, one of our past guests on the show. He actually, I stole from him his spreadsheet, and he gets multiple offers. He actually does an analysis on the spreadsheet, and at a glance, you can see this one's the strongest offer.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes they're putting down more money, they're asking for less, they're very clean offers. And so that's going to be better than having a high price and then asking for a lot and putting down very little money. So if they're angry about not getting their offer, tell them make a better offer next time.
Yes, and you made a very valid point. I do the same thing with my spreadsheets. Not only do I break it down and outline each term, but I also do an estimated net sheet. So at the end of the day, my sellers, can make the best choice for them. Because at the end of the day, it is their decision.
And bottom line, it's always the seller's final choice.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Period.
But
End of story.
One of the things, Jen, that happened to me the other day, there was an individual, a real estate agent out there, and the family was struggling. They weren't getting this deal that they wanted to get, and so they lost the home. Then it came back on the market. Okay, so he went back and spoke to the listing agent and said, "What's really going on?" And they said, well, this deal busted out, but the reason why we didn't originally accept your client's offer is because we didn't like some of the service providers they were using, okay? One of the things I tell everybody also is great agents like all of y'all here in this room today, y'all have service providers, and I'm not trying to toot any specific person, but you have service providers that a lot of times are respected in the industry. And they actually ended up winning this deal because they were using a service provider who was known in the industry. It wasn't, and I don't mean to rag on the other bank or anything, but it wasn't a bank out of Utah or something like that. It was a local, a resource right there. So it's also very important to look and to speak with y'all and to know that y'all have those resources. And when you give out those names, when you give out those connections, when you give out those opportunities, a lot of times it's to help your buyers and or sellers make a better decision, an informed decision on the individuals are going to get the job done.
You mean it wasn't some big generic bank in America?
No, probably not.
Yeah, and that's a really good point.
Of America.
Yeah, because some of the horror stories I've heard have been about they got with a small lender who couldn't get it done, were bad communicators, and it just wasn't happening. And of course, those deals are breaking out, and to get somebody can get the job done does make a huge difference.
Right.
So.
And I'll admit, in this case, I was the lender when the seller found out, and the listing agent knew me very well. Went back to the buyer, to their sellers, and said, "This guy will get it closed. You won't have any problem right there." But and so, but it's one of those things. Is there are individuals like we have in this room that are known that known or to get things done, and so. But too often I see people not follow the advice of their agents when it comes to multiple offers, when it comes to how to present the offer, when it comes to what to accept. As you mentioned, Rick, sometimes the highest priced offer isn't the best offer right there.
That's right.
And so that's why you have to engage with a professional, because those professionals will show them what that decision needs to be made or what that criteria needs to be made. Ultimately, it's the seller's choice. But there's some opportunity right there.
Well, and the one thing, too, I wanted to say what Rick was saying is that when you have a multiple offer and it is the highest offer, you've got to trust your agent to understand and present this stuff to you because, when you have those high offers, like you said, it's not worth it sometimes to take that because of the appraisal issues. We've been seeing appraisals come through that are just wacko, and we've had to protest some appraisals. And some of these appraisers aren't moving on their pricing, and they're just not kind of doing a good job for us. So really listen to what your agent is saying.
Previously on Joe's Corner.
But listen, because when you take an offer that's way high and it's not appraised, it becomes all messed up.
There's also implications associated. Is it an FHA or a VA loan in which that appraisal is going to stick with the property?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things out there to consider. When something like that happens, and they have to listen, as you mentioned, to the agent. Rob, you're pointing to me that we have 3 minutes or less.
3 minutes.
We have 2 minutes. Actually,
I thought a rival gang had entered the area, and Rob was throwing gang signs.
So, in our lightning round, what do you want to leave people with for your appearance here today?
Go.
I think what we would like for you to know is that, trust your agent. Know that the market is still moving. We are here to help. I tell people all the time, and people think it's all about the money. It's not. It's about helping people. We're helping you get into your dream homes. We're helping you get to that new season. You're downsizing. You're moving uptown, moving out to the burbs. We're here to help. So call the Marconi team at Keller Williams Metropolitan. We're here to help.
The Queen of the Met. We got a rock star over there. What would you like for everybody to listen to leave the show with you today?
Well, it's really important as agents, and I think we've touched on this before. We've got the experience behind us. We understand the appraisal process. We understand how the loan processes are going to work. So if we're offering suggestions to out-of-state buyers that are moving into the area who have a connection with their bank in North Carolina or wherever it is, and you're asking them to make an alteration to what their thought process is, try to take a step back and respect that we're trying to help, like what Sandra's talking about. And as we go through this in a quick manner, it's kind of hard to say, but we are the rock stars, whether it's Sandra or Jenifer. This is what we do, so just trust us. That's really the most important part.
How about you, Jen?
Well, I was going to elaborate on that same thing. Consumers need to understand that you're hiring a real estate professional, and you want to make sure that you are taking and heeding their advice. Especially if you're interviewing agents, you're going to choose a very successful agent. Successful people surround themselves with other successful people. Trust that.
I would absolutely agree. We say that every day. We're coming up against the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for being on it today. We like to leave it with a great quote, and today is no different, from the great Teresa Kennedy. She put, "God, I am ready. I'm taking the limits off of you. I declare I'm coming into a shift." That is actually from Joel Osteen.
God, I'm ready for a vacation.
Oh, gosh, you know that. We always have time, and time flies when you're having fun. Until next time, we are out.
And you've been listening to the Real Estate Rat Pack. The question is, who's Frank, who's Sammy, who's Dean, and who's the other guy?
Chris is Frank,
I'm
he's Dean, and I'm Sammy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So tune in to the really big show every Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.7 The Word, KKHT.